Coffee. Hey everybody, what is going on? Welcome back to another video. As always, I am your host, Brendan Miller, and today we're going to be taking a look at the cheapest baits I could find on Amazon. A while ago, I did a video titled The Cheapest Baits I Could Find at Walmart, and that video did very, very well. A lot of you guys seemed to like it, so I figured I might as well do the cheapest baits from Amazon. So I went on Amazon, looked around, and found the cheapest fishing lures I could find and ordered them. And here they are in a nice little package from China. So without further ado, let's break this thing open and see what we got. Alright, we got some baits. So the first bait we're going to take a look at is the Fishing Sinking Crankbait Hook Tackle. This lure cost me $2.50 plus $1.99 shipping, and here it is. And if you couldn't tell from the actual name, it's a tiny little jigging spoon type thing. Well, here we go. This is the bait, a tiny little jigging spoon with a feathered trailer. I gotta say, upon first inspection, this bait looks pretty impressive. It's got a basic lead weight right here that's got a nice little scale pattern and a nice little paint job, two little red eyes. We also have a little snap ring up here where you can tie your line. Follow that down, we have another snap swivel and a tiny little feathered trailer. Now, I gotta say, the hooks on this thing are pretty sharp. I don't know how quality they are. So overall, this bait looks pretty decent. I can see myself throwing this bait for crappie, perch, and panfish, fishing deep water with it, or even ice fishing with it. Vertical jigging definitely will be this bait's main strength. I keep dropping it. The second bait I bought off Amazon also cost me $2.50 plus $1.99 shipping, and it's sold by the exact same company that I bought the last bait from. And they also chose to title this bait Fishing Sinking Crankbait Hook Tackle. They're getting very creative with their titles. Now, this bait is not a jigging spoon like the last bait. This is a little vibe bait or a little blade bait. It's in a copper finish. It's got red eyes, and I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed with this bait. It seems very, very well built, very sturdy. It's got a number of line ties up here where you can attach it to give it different actions. It's got two hooks on it. The hooks feel pretty sharp. The basic design of this bait is actually quite attractive, and the bait seems like a decent bait for the money, but looks are nothing if this bait has junk action, so we're gonna have to see when we get it in the water whether the action holds up or not. But overall, I'm very impressed with this bait so far. That's good. Now, the third bait I bought off Amazon is also by the exact same seller as the last two baits, and guess what they chose to name this bait? You guessed it, Fishing Sinking Crankbait Hook Tackle. This bait also ran me $2.50. Are you guys noticing a trend? It seems like this one Amazon seller has the monopoly on the cheapest lures on Amazon, so good for them. So the name doesn't give away much, so what is this bait? Well, it is a tiny little swim bait with a built-in hook. Boom, there it is, guys. This is the bait I bought. Like I said, it's a tiny little swim bait with a nice hook up top and a treble hook on the bottom. And I gotta say, first impressions, again, seem very, very positive. It's got two little eyes on there. Although I will say one thing, the plastic feels really, really sticky. And I have a feeling that this paint job, this paint job smears pretty bad. So the paint on this thing is not going to be the most durable. It's going to want to smear off after you catch a couple fish. That's why it's so sticky. They didn't do a very good job of putting a good finish on it. But overall, this bait seems pretty decent. The tail seems like it has a decent amount of action. And the bait seems like a pretty decent bait. So the first three baits that I have talked about and shown you guys have all been the same price, $2.50. But the fourth bait is truly the cheapest lure I could find on Amazon. It cost me $1.99, and this bait is the Ray Junior Mall Plastic Frog Fishing Lure Crankbait Double Claw like hook. Now, the main picture on Amazon shows a really nice looking frog, something that looks high quality and professional, but when the actual frog showed up, it came in this very, very cheap box that says fishing lure on the inside, and on the side it says some very interesting things about the bait. Unique shape, superb details, and exclusive holographic technology make this lure live bait. Like, there's not a question. This lure is live bait. Separate rattle chambers and weighting give this lure fish catching action. And here is the lure right here. This is the frog that I saw on Amazon. And I gotta say, overall, this frog doesn't look too bad. I'm sure it's gonna catch me some fish. It's very reminiscent of the cheapest frog that you can buy at Walmart. I did a video on that frog, and this frog seems to be cut from the same cloth. It's definitely got the same type of plastic, a little bit more detailed. There's some little indentations right here, and it's got two little front legs on here. So overall, it seems like it definitely has some more attention to detail. The paint job seems pretty good. I just keep dropping stuff. This definitely seems like a cool little bait to try out. And that's what we're gonna do, folks. We are now going to head to the lake with all of these baits, and we're gonna test them out, see what the action's like, and see if we can catch some fish. Let's go. So the first bait I wanted to test out was the blade bait, so I took it down to the lake and I began to fish with it, and the first thing I noticed is that it had a very decent action in the water. It put off vibration, it put off flash, and I would love to show you some underwater footage of that bait in action, but unfortunately, this happened. There was a hit. There they're going nuts out there. There we go. Got him. This feels a little different. Oh yeah. What a screamer, dude. This guy's pulling drag. This is a big one. I only have 8-pound test line on this spinning rod, so I gotta be careful. Let's see what he is. These fish fight so hard. Oh, that's a good one, yeah. Woo, there we go. That's a chunky fish right there. Oh, that fish just broke my line. Well guys, I gotta say, it was slightly disappointing to lose that nice fish, but this does show that this blade bait does work very, very well. I could definitely see myself buying a few more of these to add to my tackle box. They're very inexpensive, and they work very good. The next bait I wanted to test out was the little jigging spoon thing, so I took that down to one of my ponds and tried to catch a bass with it. The action of this bait is about what you'd expect from your average jigging spoon that's made for ice fishing or fishing in deep water. One thing I will say about this bait is it doesn't put off as much flash as, say, a normal chrome jigging spoon, and that is due to the fact that it has a very intricate paint job on it. But if you were fishing clear water, I could see this bait being very, very effective. There we go, fish. What do we got here? It's pulling pretty good. Let's see. Oh, little bass. Look at that. Ooh, strong little fella. Get up here. All right. Nailed a nice little bass on this little jigging spoon right there. This bait definitely works. While I was down at the pond, I also threw the frog around a little bit, and I found that the action of this frog is pretty decent. It goes across weeds pretty well, and it has a nice hopping action in the water that imitates a frog. Now let's talk about the swim bait, and I gotta say guys, this was the most disappointing of all the baits I had tried. The action of this bait is okay at best. The tail does move and provide some vibration, and the whole bait tends to kind of rock like a crankbait. But the main problem I had with this bait is that it tended to run on its side, especially at high speeds. The action seemed very unstable, and it did not track very well. Another problem I had with this bait, and this actually kept me from catching a couple fish, is the fact that when a fish hit it, it would knock the tail, and it would get caught in the hooks. At first, I thought this was kind of just a rare occurrence, but it happened 2 or 3 times to me, and I started to see there was some major problems with the design of this bait. However, I was able to catch a bass with it. It is capable of catching fish, but it is not my #1 choice. So guys, there you go. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see another video like this where I talk about cheap lures, maybe from eBay or from some other fishing store, let me know down in the comments below. I enjoy making these types of videos, and you guys seem to like them. Anyway guys, thank you for watching, and as always, stay hooked. I'll see you later.